Good evening, fellow Diablo fans, to episode 55 of Westmarch Workshop. I can't do that voice. It sounded really funny in my head, but then it sounded even funnier coming out. But yes, everybody, welcome to the show. We've got a great show for you guys tonight. There's not a ton going on right now, but we still have always have ton to talk about here. I am actually your guest co-host, Lieutenant Lunatic. I am a writer and editor for not Westmarch Workshop for BlizzPro. Um, and I am joined, as always, tonight by our favorite Sanctuary lore master, Mr. Neinball.
Yay!
Neinball, how goes it, man?
Not too bad, not too bad.
I
So
kind of butchered my first intro, didn't
it
I?
it happens. It happens. It's no pressure, no pressure, no nothing. You got this. It's fine. It's
It's
okay.
gonna, you know what? Maybe like if I ever do it again, it'll be better now that I've got like my first one out of the way.
hmm Then I guess we'll just have to have you on the show a third time then.
All right, deal. And then yeah, and then I don't have to be like, because I was trying not to like, I was, I don't really know where I was gonna go with it. To be honest, it was just gonna be like, I was gonna start out with like kind of a funny voice,
hmm
and then like I couldn't actually continue with the voice because it was just making me sound too stupid, and so yeah, I couldn't take it.
You can never
Uh,
go. Just a tip of advice: you can never go wrong with Arnold impressions.
oh, there you go. But see, I think I remember from a previous episode that someone has still been asking you to do an Arnold impression, s- like, like for the whole intro. You haven't done
Yeah.
that yet, have you?
Well, I did it once before, a very long time ago. I tried to get. It was when it was just Archon and myself, and I
Okay.
did the whole Hans and Franz thing.
Oh, nice. Hans
Yeah,
and Franz.
yeah.
That I do enjoy Hans and Franz, but
Some old
yeah,
school Saturday Night Live for any of our more mature listeners.
yes. So I feel like going back just one more thing about the intro. I feel like also kind of going back to your guys' old school with like announcing your transitions. I think I just like introed my intro, didn't I?
Oh, ever so slightly, ever so
So
slightly.
I apologize about that.
hmm
But yeah.
We're
So
sorry.
we're sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
So yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Well,
But yeah, so um
here we
what have you
are.
been up to this week, man? Like
Ah,
what's been going on in your week in gaming?
well, my weekend gaming has been relatively interesting. As some of you know, I got a new job recently, and I was actually supposed to start working. I had my training a month and a half ago and was supposed to start about a month ago, but construction of the theater got delayed, and then it got delayed again. And then we actually started some training this week, but then it got delayed yet again. We were in there while they were still doing construction work, and inspectors were still there, so they kind of would ferret us from one side of the theater to the other. I don't know if they were trying to hide us from the inspectors, or we weren't supposed to be there while the inspector was like going through and checking out that part. But this morning, get there, and then it's I got there a little bit early because I started biking to work because it's not that far away. It's like 2.5, 3 miles at most. And I made the decision that I wanted to start biking. I want to get back in a little bit of shape, or at least exercising a little bit more. And there's this one thing that when you're driving over there, you don't kind of realize there's a bridge between here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is something else when you're going and trying to bike up it. So I killed myself a little bit this morning.
Oh,
I get there early, since the theater is still under construction, I stop. There's a little restaurant there. I go and I use their bathroom, clean up, change, and then head over, grab a little bit of breakfast, and then I'm sitting outside the theater with a whole bunch of other people, waiting for about 30 minutes. And then at 9 o'clock, they come out and say there's inspection going on and they can't let anybody into the building, so everyone
what?
just come back in an hour. And they hand out some worksheets for like the training material we are supposed to go over, but it all is about the POS system, and it's like we can't do it without actually having the computer sitting in front of us. So there was not a lot that we could do. So we just go and hang out. There's a Staples nearby, so we all go in there because it's air conditioned and they have nice chairs.
Uh,
They're for sale, not really for sitting. And we had the manager come over and ask if we needed help a couple times within that hour. It was funny. And then we finally go back over and they say, well, the inspection failed, and so we're not opening this Friday like we originally intended, and training has been canceled for the rest of the week.
what?
Yeah, so it's just
That's a good
what?
start to your job
Yes, exactly. We've only
after they've
been
already delayed it, right?
yeah. So this will be like the fourth delay now, continually pushed back. Hopefully, starting on Monday, depending upon either how far they get with the inspection process or the certain amount of construction. I really didn't see them being able to open on Friday anyways because nothing in the kitchen has been hooked up and nothing has been delivered. Like nothing. So it's
Oh, that's scary.
yeah, but my previous background in IT came in handy the one day that we actually went through to get training because I was able to the time clock system uses fingerprints
Hmm.
and we've set up something similar to that before, or I've set up something similar to that before. So while the HR manager was doing this for like the first time and she was getting really frustrated with it, it was just like, hold on, I got this, and go through and start putting everybody into the system and getting them enrolled, and showed her how to go through and use it. So
So
that,
you're training people supposed to be training you.
exactly. So my
That's
training involved training the manager.
there you go.
Yeah. Um, Well, yeah, that was fun. Unfortunately, because of that, just that and having to run around and do some other stuff, I have family over right now, so we are doing a lot of cleaning and some like little minor construction and painting and stuff here in the living room. So that my past week's been a little bit hectic. The one thing that I did do in gaming is that 40K finals. We finally figured out a way of doing it, and I unfortunately lost my match. The way that we
Oh,
had decided it, instead of doing team games because it just takes too long, is we just do two one-on-ones. My teammate won his game, and then I lost mine. I kind of just got screwed over by some dice rolls at the very end of the game. I was leading all the way up until the end, and then he got some objective points, which is how you determine the winner. He got some random value objective points and just rolled really high on how many points that he got. So he ended up beating me by 1 point because of a couple lucky rolls at the end.
son of a gun.
Yeah, so it was robbed from me, but I'm still technically in it because he has to fight my teammate, and if my
Okay.
teammate wins, which pretty confident that he will, we were both running similar lists, and I was destroying him. Like I said, I was winning up until that point. I had the majority of my army still on the board. He had 4 models left. If the game had continued, we ended it at turn 5 because the store was closing. Even though we rolled to continue, the game could go on to a turn 7. Uh, had it gone longer, I would have won because I would have just taken him off the board, regardless of how many points there was between us. So it was pretty nice, pretty intense match, and it kind of sucks that it's like just like victory is yours, and then I scored D3 3 points, I scored D3 3 points, and now I win by 1. It was like son of a whatever, whatever. Not salty, not
So
salty at
if
all.
so if he wins though, do you guys play like as a team then? Like you keep going as a team?
It's just this for the winter we decided to do a team league where
Got it.
people got grouped up with one another just to
Okay.
do things differently. It was fun at the beginning with the low point values, but once it got above 1,500 points, it just started taking 6 hours for a game. It
Yeah.
was too long. Um, but yeah, that was about it for my week. I noticed as I sit here talking for the past 10 minutes about stuff that you all don't care about because you're here to watch Diablo. But please tell me, how has your past week been?
Oh my gosh. So I was thinking about this earlier today, like, because I knew I was going to be asked, like, how has your weekend gaming been? And I started thinking, I was like, man, like, I really haven't done that much. And I started thinking about why I haven't done that much in game. And I will tell you why. I Let me start out by saying I have played quite a bit of Diablo this week. but I haven't done a whole lot because I am stuck on this one stupid achievement that I have been working on since last week. So we have the achievement, the co-op achievements. You know, you complete all the events, all like Act 5, and all those good, all that good stuff is
Hmm.
like you have to get all the check marks before you can get the achievement. And so 3 days and I um, have been running co-op games, and we are down to one event left in Act
Ooh.
5, and I bet you he and I have ran over 100 games trying to get this stupid brutal assault and Pandemonium Fortress 1 level 1, and it is like it does not pop. It doesn't pop.
Which one is that?
It's one of the cursed chests. Well, so it's not actually a cursed chest. It's an event that
Hmm.
pops as you get close to the chest. And so there's two events like that. One is Leap of Faith, which is supposed to be the other really rare one, and I've found that I think 5 times probably. So
Hmm.
we've done well over 100 games. It's been probably closer to 200 now. Um,
That sounds like me trying to find those last couple books in the Battlefields of Eternity.
the ancient corpse, is that what it
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
Yes, yes. Those, yeah. I think I remember doing those. Shepard and I spent quite a few hours doing that. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's exactly how it is. It's like after a while, you're just convinced that they do not exist. And so I have literally been working all week on that achievement. Not just that one, I guess. We were getting 3 days caught up with myself as well, so like we could just be hunting for the same event together rather than being spread all over the place. So
Hmm.
got him caught up, working on that one. So if I get that one event, it completes. I have all the hardcore. No, wait. I have all of the co-op achievements done, and then all of the campaign achievements done. And so it gets me like 3 achievements right there.
Hmm.
I'm at 95%, and I know I have a lot of the longest ones left, but like there's like this one, like things like that, like that shouldn't be taking this long. So like I'm trying to prepare myself for like the monk like heal 2 billion and things like that. Um,
I remember Lala's tale of working on that one.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
not pleasant. Not something to be
No,
looking forward to.
no. I'm trying to prepare myself for it. I wasn't prepared to spend this much time on an event,
So
on one event.
so you should be running the monk at the moment, trying to find the event, so that way you can just be spamming the heal as
That's
you're
actually a
running
really good.
through.
That's actually a really good idea.
Hmm.
Um,
You're
I
welcome.
should be doing. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I got to do a monk build then. I think no, 3 days is running a crusader right now, so he needs to get a monk out too. Because I think what we were planning on doing is just sitting in town, and just healing each other for like hours,
Hmm.
which sounds so boring. But like I'm at 95%. I gotta go. I gotta get the full. I gotta get the full thing now, right?
Hmm.
So that has been my week in Diablo. Like I haven't even touched my seasonal Crusader that I started last week. Um, I haven't touched him. Other than that, I Fallout Shelter came out on the iPad, and it's pretty addicting. So
Hmm.
I've been playing a lot of that, like
I
right before I go to bed.
I've got Final Fantasy Record Keeper is like my mobile addiction for my phone, so I have
So
not tried out the Fallout Shelter yet.
you and Leviathan tried to get me into Record Keeper, and I need to give it a shot. I have it downloaded, but I just haven't started it. Like I've gotten through the intro,
Hmm.
so I need to give it a shot because yeah, you and Leviathan were like swearing by it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, there's two events right now. I don't know if you'd be able to complete them in time, but you can get Tidus and Waka from the Final Fantasy X event that is going through the 21st, and you can get Vivi and Garnet from Final Fantasy IX until the 24th. And then I
Ah,
think after that is they're like rehashing the Cloud event or something, so you can get Sephiroth again or something. I forget what it is.
so I need
Hmm.
to like start like now.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, not at all.
Okay,
Hmm.
all right, I'll give it a
But
shot.
yep.
But other than that, that's pretty much been it for my week in gaming.
Yeah.
Nothing real exciting because it's those stupid achievements. Hopefully, once I get 100%, then I can
You
have
would be
stuff.
surprised. I'm sure there are probably quite a few listeners out there that are interested in hearing about achievements because they're out there right beside you going and farming them.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah, if anyone ever wants to like do some farming with me or whatever, like feel free to join me. I've got like I don't even know which one's left. Like I know I'm gonna spend a lot of time on bounties. So like um bounties. Anybody who wants to join me with bounties, it's gonna take a long time. Then there's like you have to get
mhm.
like 10,000 bounties, and so
I
hit
think
me
that
up, guys.
I think that's like one of the last ones that Shepard has left.
Yeah, I think he only has like
Yes.
100 left or so. He
Yeah,
should like take that out.
he's here in chat, so once he catches up, he'll be able to
Yeah,
answer that. But
come on, Steph. We're waiting on you, man.
but while we wait for his reply, as you might have guessed from the show title, All's Quiet. We
Yes.
don't really have a lot to talk about. There's not a lot been going on in the Diablo world. We've not got much as far as like official word. There was Diablo was kind of featured on the PC stream from E3 last night, but that was more for uh, Heroes of the Storm, not so much Diablo itself.
Yes.
And from there, it's just been a couple tiny little things. We do have the one thing. Tomorrow is the Play Your Way stream,
Yes.
and it is featuring the monk. And also the special guest on there is going to be Quinn, Quinn 69. One of the world's best monk players out there. I think he's not number one. He's not the number one monk at the moment, um, but
He's the
it,
most well-known monk, though.
yeah,
Like
he's definitely one of
he's
the
like the
most.
monk guy.
Yeah, besides I guess like Dat mods.
Oh yeah.
He's
Okay.
up. He's up there. He's
Sure.
definitely up there.
Yeah.
But he dropped from the number one rank this season because he's kind of been putting some more focus on Heroes of the Storm. He's going through and streaming that quite a bit. Like this past couple weeks, he's taking a little bit of a break from Diablo. Obviously, he's going and appearing on the live stream with Nevelistus and the winner Demon Coyote. So he's obviously not walked away. It's just that whole thing. It's the middle of the season. We all know we have a minimum of 2 months left to go, and it's just like, well, let me find some other things instead of going and getting myself fully burnt out on the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that they are going to be joined by um, the one of the environmental artists, Joshua Manning. I don't remember if he is the barrel guy from the anniversary stream last year.
Oh, I do not know that. I do not know that answer.
Hmm.
The
Well,
Nevilus is the fourth one, right?
yeah, Nevelis is it's her show, so it's all she's always going
That's
to be
true.
there. Hmm.
Yeah. That'll be exciting though. Like it'll be cool to have like two monks on like that know what they're talking about, and um I don't know. Are they playing softcore?
Yes, I believe so. 'Cause I think Quinn predominantly plays um, softcore.
Hmm. Good old softcore.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, so we will see some stuff there. I don't know how much information that we'll get out of it, since instead of having one of the developers, we're going to be having the environmental artists, kind of going through with what we had previously, where we had like a programmer, a developer, Don Vu, one of the developers was on last week. Um, or not last week, but last stream. So it's
Last
kind of like
stream.
going through, yeah, and cycling through. You have a developer, like an artist or programmer, story. Maybe we'll get someone from the story team, like Leonard or Brian, to come back out because they haven't been
Hmm.
on the stream and for a very long time. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't foresee anything really being announced tomorrow. I mean, I feel like they would have a developer on if they were going to announce something like new, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So they might like talk about some things, but I don't foresee any like big announcements, unfortunately.
Yeah. It,
I don't know. Do you think I'm wrong?
no, I think you're right. I don't really see anything major coming out of it. We might get some little tidbits about 2.3. I would be, remiss if they don't, especially with a player like Quinn being the special guest on there, if they don't try and push through some questions about 2.3. But there has to be a reason why the developers have been kind of like, just like,
Been pretty
zero
quiet.
communication. It's like
Yeah, they've been pretty
everything's kind of been
quiet.
shut down.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, that's what I figured. Like, there's
Hmm.
got to be something coming soon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, allow me to put on maybe a little bit of speculation cap,
I
as it
love
were.
those caps. Can I put one on as well?
Sure, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay.
We can do it
I
together.
have a bald head, so I'm cold anyway.
um,
So
so this has been one of the longer periods of not having any real information, and we know that patch 2.3 is about at the minimum 2 months away, and it's like the longer that we wait or the longer that we don't hear anything, obviously the longer it's going to be because we're now at the point where most PTRs are 2 months long. And
yep.
so they normally will do a little bit of a press release or some information of stuff that's coming in the patch, especially for a large patch like 2.3 is before they start the PTR. Um, so we're kind of like at least a minimum of, now plus 2 months out from whenever the actual next season or hopefully patch is going to drop. So it's like every week that goes on, we're 2 months away from there. We're 2 months away from there. So it's, now we're kind of looking at minimum the end of August. So now we're looking at more of a 5 month season.
Hmm. So your thought is that you
But
think something's coming sooner rather than later.
I'm not sure. But what I think that it is that the reason why that they're kind of just been incommunicata and have nothing coming out is twofold. Because obviously they're working on patch 2.3, which is shaping up to be just as big as 2.2. We're getting a new zone. There's going to be additional new class sets. We should be seeing some continued class or class set revamps, such as Invokers, Helltooth. Um, there's obviously going to be new items being thrown into the mix there, but that alone isn't going to be, you know, all that much. So that's not going to really entail like this long of a development cycle, especially because we've seen Ruins of Shesharon and some other stuff from back at BlizzCon that they've been working on for a while. Maybe they have to go back in and rehash and redo a little bit of the zones or bugs that they have to fix. But what if the team itself is split, like distracted? What if they have another significant portion of the team that's going and working on this, greatly rumored and speculated second expansion,
Heyo.
which, they were most of us are expecting the announcement to come out of Gamescom. We could be wrong. They could wait until BlizzCon to go through and making the announcement or what have you. And if they are going to go through and announce it at BlizzCon, they're going to have a playable demo at BlizzCon, or not BlizzCon, at Gamescom, just like they did for Reaper of Souls, which means they're not only trying to go through and get patch 2.3 done with a part of the team going and continuing to work on the expansion, they also have to dedicate resources to go through and make a workable, playable demo for Gamescom. Are they announcing, they're going to show off whatever the new zone is? Are they announcing a new class? They have to get all of that polished and completed to have that done in time, as well as everything done for patch 2.3. And so you have all of these schedules kind of lining up at the same point that they're kind of like all their deadlines are kind of like meeting in August.
I was gonna say because I don't foresee them announcing 2.3 and the expansion at the same time.
Hmm. I
Um,
Yeah, I don't expect them to announce patch 2.3 like at the same time as the expansion. We'll get patch 2.3, the announcement at least before the announcement of the expansion, though we might have that news while we're in the middle of the PTR.
yeah, I guess like I foresee them though, like if like 2.3 is going to be anything like 2.2, I think it's going to come at some big, like, I mean, I don't know if Gamescom or like BlizzCon or whatever, but like I feel like, I mean, because what 2.2 was announced at BlizzCon, correct? Like and they like previewed it and everything.
A lot of the content of patch 2.2 was shown off there, yeah.
So I mean, if they're gonna, unless they don't make as big of a deal out of 2.3, like I feel like it's gonna have to be at some sort of big event, and then the expansion obviously is gonna have to be someplace huge as well.
hmm
I can't, yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Like patch 2.3. I could see them going through and announcing at any time that they're ready. That's not the type of thing that has to wait until an event in order to be announced.
do you foresee it being as big as 2.2?
I see it being on the level of 2.2, especially with the fact that they're adding in like a new area. I guess not a whole act, but just like the new zone.
Yep.
The ruins of Shesharon. I like that word.
Unless you like that word.
Sesharon.
Is it
Shesharon.
Secheron or Checheron?
Sesharon.
Secheron.
hmm
I feel like I have like a mouth guard in or something.
That
Secheron.
that means that you're saying it right.
Yes, very much so.
hmm
Um, yeah, I get like, but how do you think they would? Do you think what would be the way that you think they would announce 2.3 then?
I honestly, they'll announce it when they're ready.
But do you
It's
think it'll
just
just be over like an article or
yeah,
like?
it's just gonna be like
Oh,
just
I
like a
can't
web
imagine
release.
that. No way.
hmm
I feel like it'd have to be like something big because like if they're gonna add in like all these reworks of like these sets, like the invokers and all that good stuff, like it's got to be something like bigger than, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think 2.3 will be previewed at Gamescom, and
I
then I think,
see. If they preview it at game, the only problem with there, if they preview it at Gamescom, then we have a 2 month PTR from there. You'd be looking at October for the release of the patch.
which I think would be okay because like they could do like another short season unless they said that it's gonna, is it gonna coincide with season 4?
Um, that one
I think they confirmed.
they've not actually confirmed whether it would be. That is the idea, but with patch 2.1.2 in season 2, I wouldn't be surprised that if they look and say like, look, patch 2.3 is taking longer than we expected, we'll do some we'll add in some minor set tweaks. We'll do the revamped sets uh, in a smaller patch and do it like a 2 month season or a month and a half season, for the in between time, until we can, just to give themselves a buffer to get 2.3 out.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
I would
I
love them to announce something. I like to for them to not make. I mean, because to be honest, like 2.3, I'm not that excited about 2. I mean, like I'm excited for new stuff, but like, I mean, let's be honest, we all want the expansion, right? Like
hmm
that's what we want.
that
Is
that is what we want and what we're all hoping for.
And so like once they announce 2.3, I feel like it's gonna be like, oh, all right, 2.3, like awesome, give us an expansion. I feel bad for saying that,
hmm
but I don't know.
It's just one of those ones. We're getting close to it, and if they do announce an expansion at Gamescom or at BlizzCon, 2.3 might be the last big content patch until we get the expansion itself. So that one could be, if we get patch 2.3, sometime between August and October, and then we get the announcement of the expansion at Gamescom or at BlizzCon, and it doesn't come out until April or May of next year, we could easily be looking at, one of those periods of 8 months with no real new content. They could easily go through and put in a couple of seasons and some little minor tweaks, but it's just like patch 1.0.8, where it was, like almost a year between that patch
Yeah,
and Reaper of Souls. So there was no new content. It was just like,
yeah. That was
and
like the wall of walls.
yeah, and that was something, going and talking with one of the former producers, Alex Mayberry. he said that as soon as patch 1.0.8 released, that's when work on the expansion Reaper started in earnest. They went through, they cranked out. This is the last content update, and then now everything that we've got is going into Reaper in order to go and get this done. And it makes sense. You want to try and get your big new project out that's going to be adding a lot of stuff
Yep.
to the game. If there's any other like little tweaks or minor changes, they can always bake that into the patch 3.0 that everyone will get, regardless of whether you get the expansion or not. Just so that way people get the additional content, and then just kind of strain it out from there.
All right. So prediction: when are they announcing 2.3?
Announcing 2.3, I would expect, kind of at this point, maybe first week of July,
And then when does
in
it come out?
September.
September.
Yeah, that's going to be my official prediction at the moment. Though I could easily see them if the development goes past September, like the beginning of September, not the end of September. If the development is gonna, they estimate it to go past like the first week of September, we're going to get a patch 2.2.2 and a season 4 with a little mini update, and then patch 2.3 will come, like another month and a half, 2 months after that.
I could see that.
Hmm.
That would probably make like 2.2.2 would make a lot of sense to me.
Hmm. Just the reason that, just for me and my thinking, we've not heard really anything at all about 2.3. There's something going on behind the scenes that's probably splitting some of the development resources of the team. My expectation is because they're working on a playable demo for the expansion, and so they have the teams working on the content as well as that demo, um, and that is what's causing this delay.
Yeah.
That's my honest feeling about what's going on in the background. Just the way that the Diablo team has been for like the past couple of years, we kind of would have heard something by now for patch 2.3 if they were going to hit their goal of August, which at this point I just think, as much as we all want it, it's not going to happen.
I don't
We
think so either.
Yeah, and if it goes much longer past that, 2.3 is going to be pushed back. We'll get the mini season 4, 2.2.2, and like I think like a patch 2.2.2 and a little mini season 4 could be and still easily targetable for August, like mid-August, late August. So that way we're not having to go through a full 5 months before we get our next content or the seasons and eras themselves roll over.
Yep.
Yeah,
I could see that.
yeah.
And
Um,
then
and
they're
just
asking, what's that? Go
I
ahead.
was just about to say, yeah, with the kind of people are going and asking about like thoughts on the expansion and such. I had this beautiful idea come to me this past week for the expansion. Now,
What's
not the story or anything like that, but this is just my thoughts of the intro cinematic. All right. So it goes through, and just like Reaper of Souls did, it starts off with the pencil drawing. It shows the Nephilim going and fighting all of Malthael's minions, fighting in through the heart of Pandemonium, and then finally beating Malthael. And
Spoiler.
then, spoiler, yes, in case you haven't played the game yet,
Plug
in
your
or
ears.
for some reason listening to this podcast. And then it makes the transition over to like the fully rendered scene of hell and the skies parting in hell and the angelic host like pouring into hell of all the angels going through and fighting the demons in their territory. All the primeval's been banished. This is their time to seize victory. You have like Imperius, Ariel, and Ithriel, kind of standing over, watching everything as they're going through and slaughtering. And then all of a sudden, everything like turns dark, and you have like all like the angels just suddenly start dying, and you kind of like have like Diablo just like coming up out of it. And this, in my head, this makes more sense. Actually going through and trying to explain it, well, while you have this like scene going on, Tyrael is giving his voiceover of the events, and while you see everything going through and fighting, you don't really hear what's going on. It's Tyrael talking about the events leading up to this point, about how the Malthael's gambit with the Black Soul Stone locked away the prime evils, and how the Angel of Death almost brought creation to its knees, but instead might be the Angel's savior. And then after he goes through and is talking about how like the Angel of Death might have been the savior, that's when Diablo appears and it's just like, not even death can save you from me. And I
Ooh.
was just
There's
like,
a little nostalgia in there too.
yeah,
I like that.
it's like one of those things that kind of like clicked in my head at one point, that it's like death was trying to save creation from the demons. You know, I was just
It would be really cool to bring
I
Diablo back.
I need to
Like,
try and write that down, because in my head it makes sense, but going through and trying to explain it, it's a little bit scattered. I could
well,
do a
you have it
better
on
job.
record. You have it on recording now, so you're
Yes,
good.
so I can. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh
Uh,
goodness, that would be sweet.
mhm.
I that would be cool to have Diablo back. How many times can you revive Diablo? Because if we have a Diablo
uh,
4,
well, I mean, according to lore, infinitely.
yeah,
The the the
is that like when
demons.
we keep is that
Uh,
like we keep fighting Ganondorf over and over in Zelda?
kind of, yeah. It's just, it's the demons are immortal. They cannot die. Period. When they're destroyed, their soul just goes back to hell. Even if you kill them in hell, their soul will go and eventually reform after time. That's why, again, we've talked about this, I think, for the last couple episodes. There's a little tiny animated um, movie called Wrath. You can find it on youtube.com/Diablo. It goes and talks about that, where the Anguirus Council actually, they imprison Diablo, and they're like, we can't kill him. We have him captured. If we kill him, he'll just reform. But if we keep him imprisoned in heaven, we can win. They're down and evil. They won't be able to fight back against us. So
Mm,
that's one of those
yeah,
things. Where on the opposite side, angels are not. When an angel dies, they're dead, with the sole exception being Tyrael. He's the only angel to ever have come back.
yeah,
Yeah, and that apparently was like a huge deal. It shows it a lot in the novel Storm of Light. You don't really get the feel from the beginning of Diablo 3, but yeah, when an angel dies, the kind of part of their essence goes back into the Crystal Arch, and kind of like for every angel that dies, they're reincarnated, but they're a new being. So when Malthael is destroyed, there will be a reincarnation of him that's birthed from the Crystal Arch, but it won't be Malthael. I don't know if it'll still be like the Archangel of Wisdom, but it's kind of like how the angels work. They're always outnumbered by hell. There's always like a set number of them that are there.
yeah. I
Hmm.
guess my question though is not was is how many times can you kill him and have it still be interesting to where it's like, oh, we're fighting Diablo for the eighth time, ninth time.
Hmm.
I don't
Um.
know.
Yeah, I don't know. It is
It's
interesting.
interesting. Something to
That's
think about.
that is one thing that I did, like with them going and us fighting Malthael instead of Diablo. Kind of
Yeah, yeah.
changing it up a little bit. But the name of the franchise is Diablo. It's
It is. It is. You're
it would
right.
be weird not to have him as like the ending bad guy. Though in like Lord of Destruction, it's Baal, his brother. They fleshed out a lot more in the story and given us more opportunities to see other big bads that are out there for us to fight.
Yeah, I would like to see like the return of Bale or
Hmm.
someone mentioned in chat. I was thinking about that as well. Mephisto would be cool because I feel like Mephisto came and went so fast.
Yeah, it's also it's funny because in all of the lore in the books, Mephisto is like the ruler of hell. Everyone follows his word. He's the eldest, like eldest, they were born outside of time, so it doesn't really have,
Mm,
it's a different meaning to them than what we would think. Um, and he was just as one of the most powerful because he's like the cruelest and most manipulative. Everyone kind of, you know, you don't know if you're fighting against him or just falling into his trap or his plan. So he was the one that always kind of officially, unofficially ruled everything. And then, of course, yeah, he was the joke boss fight that you had in D2. It was just
Mm-hmm.
very, um, I guess, anticlimactic in that respect.
Yeah.
Though,
And it,
admittedly, a lot of his story was built up after Diablo 2.
yeah.
Hmm.
I said yeah, like I knew that. Of course.
Of
I knew
course,
that. Yeah,
of
I did.
course. But yeah, I guess going on from there, like there was like a huge amount of Diablo related content news that did come out. That was all
Yes.
for Heroes of the Storm.
It sure was.
Yep. If you haven't tried Heroes of the Storm, it is out now. It's free to play, and if you're a Diablo fan, now is the time that you would want to go through, get into it, and try it out. They just released the Crusader in two weeks. Yeah, just under 2 weeks. On June 30th, they'll be doing the Eternal Conflict patch. It's like
Just looks awesome.
yeah, it's kind of like dubbed expansion, kind of. It's a free to play MOBA, so there's no real expansions or anything like in that respect. But it's all Diablo all the time. They're releasing the Butcher. They're releasing a Diablo themed map full of treasure goblins and health globes and everything else that you know and love.
Yep.
They are going to be, shortly after that, they're going to be releasing King Leoric as a playable hero. And then after that, they're going to be releasing the Monk as a playable hero. They're throwing in a redeemed Diablo skin, which makes them all angelic. You're getting an Amazon skin for Nova, so
Oh
you'll be
man,
able to
Amazon
play
looks so awesome.
yeah, so even though it's not the actual Amazon from Diablo 2, it's her skin. So you get to play a Boazon if you pick Nova and then go and buy that skin. So we got a lot of interesting Diablo content,
Yep.
going through and coming out. It's pretty
Just not for our
interesting.
game.
Yeah, just not for us just yet. Though there's not a lot of like cross development between the teams. The Heroes of the Storm team kind of goes and does their own thing. They'll talk with the artists and the writers, like the creative content people, just to get an idea of the art and the flavor of the different characters that they're taking over and putting into Heroes. But there's no real like anything coming over from the development side. Nothing's being taken away from the Diablo team to create all of this content for Heroes, but it is pretty interesting. I absolutely love the Crusader Johanna. She is awesome. Um, but it's some pretty interesting stuff. I definitely recommend if you haven't tried it out. June 30th, go download it, have fun. With all the new Diablo content coming in Heroes, it's gonna
Yep.
be a blast.
It'll definitely be fun. It's sad like it's not for our game, but
Hmm.
it's exciting that, there's Diablo coming out somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Diablo is getting some love, and I would hope that sometime soon they're gonna start, whether it be patch 2.3 or patch 2.2.2, that they start these, kind of like the press roll getting sometime soon, because like Heroes is just, they're out the gates.
They're
Yeah, they,
destroying
you
and
know,
like
yeah, they were the closing segment on E3's PC stream. They're getting a lot of hype, a lot of interest is being generated this by this game. They're getting new players signed up every single day, and it's just to not
yeah.
take advantage of all this hype going on about Heroes that's cross promoting Diablo
Yeah.
seems like kind of a little bit of a wasted opportunity there.
I think like just Blizzard in general is on a roll. Like they got, I mean, Hearthstone's going crazy. Like just releasing 2.7, and then like Overwatch is coming out with like, I mean, I know they're not releasing much new stuff, but like, they're doing all the fan, or not the fan videos, the gameplay videos, and um just yeah, there's like just so much, there's so much going on in Blizzard. And so I feel like there's a lot of just Blizzard hype in general. Like you said though, like Heroes of the Storm, it is like there's so much Diablo hype, and they absolutely like, it would be crazy if they don't capitalize on that.
Hmm.
But the Blizzard hype in general, I think, is is huge right now. Like, I don't know, man.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get something soon.
Something soon.
Something
Something.
soon.
Yep.
I'm not gonna be picky at this point.
Yep.
I just want something.
But also going through and speaking of the butcher, we want to take a moment and show off
Yes.
one of the new articles coming to diablo.blizzpro.com.
Yep.
It's Diabolic Evolution. It's written by clan member 3 Days. He's going to be going through. He's previously was doing like a build of the week. He's now going to be changing it up. One week is going to be like the build of the week, and the next one is going to be his new column, Diabolic Evolution, which kind of goes back and looks at certain aspects of the game that has changed over time from Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and all the way up until Diablo 3. This first week's article, talks about the Butcher and the changes that he's undergone throughout the years. From fresh meat, starting off everybody's favorite and most remembered phrase
Yeah.
from
So scary.
Diablo One, and just kind of goes through and talks about where he came from, how he's evolved, where the all the changes that has gone through and such. It's
Yeah.
definitely worth going and checking out. Definitely recommend going, seeing everything that he has going on there, and just keep an eye out because he's going to have more of these articles. Next week will be, or this week I should say, should be the new build, and next week will be another little bit of like lore and story of another aspect of the game.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good ideas coming up, and so it's
Hmm.
exciting um, to see all that stuff. I love the comparisons. Like nostalgia for Diablo is what, like that and playing with my friends are probably the two biggest things that keep me playing this game. Like playing, playing since I was a kid.
Hmm.
Like so all that nostalgia, and then playing with friends are just absolutely the two biggest things for me. And actually, I wanted to give props as well to Dread Scythe, who has been doing a lot of these banners that you just showed off, the Diabolic Evolution banner on the BlizzPro. Like, you guys go check out if you're reading through these Diablo articles and things like that. He's been doing a lot of these banners, um, and they look awesome. So, shout out to Dread Scythe. He's
Hmm.
doing some work. So
Yeah, if there's ever anything on like BlizzPro that's graphics oriented and looks awesome, it was probably touched by Dread Scythe, just so you know.
and then I come in and tell him how to really do it. And then no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, but yeah, seriously, yeah, he's doing some work. So, yep,
Well, so shall we go through and tackle some feedback?
let's do it.
All
Let's do
right,
it.
you want to take the first one?
Yeah, which is is this the lower question?
we could go and start there.
All right, I'm gonna tackle a lower question, everybody.
All
I hope
right, I am
hope
ready for
everyone's
this one. I am ready.
hope everyone's ready for this. All right, this is actually addressed to Neinball, but that's okay because I'm gonna answer it, and then Neinball will come back in and he's not gonna correct me. He's just gonna tell me how great I did. So this comes from Fouch, who I believe is in chat tonight.
Yep.
Um, so he says, Neinball, quick lore related questions I was hoping you could answer tonight. I said first one. So actually, I haven't read over these questions yet at all. So, yeah.
You're
Um,
doing good, kid. Keep it up.
during the D3 cinematic, which is at the end of Act One, in which Imperius and Tyrael are fighting, Imperius summons Solarian, his spear. Oh, I already knew that, Fouch. You
Hmm.
didn't need to tell me it was his spear. While he was in Tyrael, while he has Tyrael in a throat hold, why summon the spear? Is it implied that he would kill him or inflict harm? So, Fouch, the reason that the reason Imperius summons his spear is because he knows that Tyrael is the angel of angels, and he calls forward the spear because the spear used to be owned by the angels before Imperius went to the dark side, and so Solarian. So yeah, so Solarian used to be an angel, and then when Imperius switched over to the dark side, he killed Solarian the angel, and yeah, and that's why he could get Tyrael with it. How'd I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd I do? Vouch says my
Okay.
brain hurts. Stop.
Uh-huh. Well, it was a very interesting interpretation of it.
Yeah,
I liked it. That was interesting.
appreciate that.
Um, but I guess to answer the question, uh, the
Oh, I didn't
reason
answer
why
the question, did I?
no, you just whoosh.
I was just trying to explain Solarian to everybody
Solarian. Yep.
to
You have
lead
to
it
have to
up
you
to
have to
your
you have to
answer.
understand about Solarian in order to frame the question before we can answer it. Um,
It's true.
the whole reason why Tyrael is there is he's been put on trial because with both heaven and hell, the most sacred thing in all of creation was the World Stone, the Eye of Anu, and Tyrael destroyed it. So they're Tyrael going through, and like I mentioned earlier, he's the only angel to have ever come back from the dead. It took him 20 years, but he managed to recoalesce his being into a physical form. And while on one hand, to the angels, this is a miracle. They've never seen this before. This is some sort of sign. On the other hand, he just destroyed the most sacred object in all of creation, both to the high heavens and the burning hells. This is what the entire eternal conflict was about. The whole reason for their existence is to control the world stone, and he just went and blew it up. So he's being put on trial, for this transgression, especially for trying to save humans who Imperius absolutely hates. He sees them as abomination, and he just is his emotions got the better of him. As going back again, watch Wrath, and it will make a little bit more sense. That Imperius has kind of not really been having that great of a time. He's especially with Malthael being gone, he's kind of a broken man. He's not really in that much control of his emotions. And he just let it get the better of him. And yeah, he was going to go and kick Tyrael's ass and kill him if that's what was need be, because everything that he was saying borderlined on heresy, something not befitting of Tyrael station. Um, would you like to tackle the second question?
Well, I just want to add to that. I mean, that's basically what I said.
Exactly, exactly.
How about I read the question and then you can answer it?
We could do that. I could do that.
How's that?
Hmm.
I'll save the listeners from the pain of no, of yeah, you know.
Solarian.
All right. So question 2 is I finished reading Storm of Light yesterday. During the opening cinematic of Reaper of Souls, Malthael obviously killed some Haradrim. Were any of the ones killed the same ones that stole the Soul Stone? I know
Zale.
Zale was
He
not one
he
of the ones
spelled it
killed.
differently, but it's Zale.
No, he was found in the Blood Marsh. So we know Zale wasn't killed. What about the others?
The other ones that take place in the book, they're not the Haradrim that were there. And now I've forgotten all of the names of everyone that was there, but all the characters in the book, none of them were there. They all, after the events that transpired, they basically went their separate ways to try and rest and recover. And they just had gotten a fresh set of reinforcements from Kyrgyzstan, where the Harajic Order is kind of based right now. And this is just some of the rank and file Haradrim. So no named characters were killed during the filming of this cutscene.
Oh, good times.
Yep.
All right, you want to tackle the next question?
Sure.
Even though you kind of answered those questions,
Mhm.
I don't want to be the guy that's like reading all these questions.
Yep. No worries. No worries. We can
It's
go
your show,
through.
man.
Let me see. There was one that we had gotten. Let me go and find it here. Yes. Um, I'm going to do a little bit of a transition. We got an email here from Power Axes. He's a member of the clan, or a longtime listener of the show. We he wanted to go through and talk about, just kind of like dealing with that mid-season lull, finding some things to do. And what he suggested was, going and doing. Oh,
We just go
everything.
black.
Yeah, everything just went black there. Hold on. Oh, that is not transitioning, so I will have to wait on that one. But it was wanting to go and just find a different way of playing the game to make things fresh, to make things interesting. And what he found was, this challenge that had gotten posted to the hardcore forums that is like, this is something to just go and do. It's a different way of playing the game to try and make things interesting again. And it is see how far you can get playing the game with a hardcore seasonal character and not using a single set item. No class sets, no crafted sets, no focus and restraints, no Donettas, nothing. So you can only use legendaries and seeing how far you can get.
It's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, he was in raid call the other night telling me about it, and I want to get in there and try this out because it's a good idea because like you can kind of, I mean, it's a you can keep your best gear in your in your stash. So if you die, if you're playing hardcore, if you die, you lose your guy. You're not losing your best gear because it's all in your stash.
Hmm.
So it sounds pretty cool. I know he's having a blast with it. So yeah.
Yeah.
S-
So you want to take the
So
next one?
yeah. So this next one is from Realist Style, which I appreciate. He gave us a pronunciation, which
Yes.
which is very appreciated.
Hmm.
His isn't too bad, but some of the names can be difficult sometimes. So first off, he said he's addressing you, Neinball. He said he loves the show. He's been listening since episode 24 and loves you guys. Primarily plays on the PS4. PS4. Um, he wants to send Leviathan his love, so we will pass that on.
Hmm.
Um, also says what's up Archon and everything's his fault. So but yeah, so anyway, he's heard us talking about in the past about Kadala rollers and gear calculators, and just wondering which ones we use. um, and so we actually the Diablo site, Blizzard actually featured one a few weeks ago. um, it's called or the website it's kind of a funny website name. It's called Fighting Dragons with TaylorSwift.com/Kadala. So if you guys can
Hmm.
get all that, if you can't find it, I'm sure if you Google Kadala Simulator or go to the Diablo's website, the Blizzard Diablo's website, and they scroll down a little bit and they have a link for it. But it is a really cool tool to use, like for Kadala. They have a crafting section in there it's kind of in beta right now. I haven't really used the crafting at all, but I have messed around with the Kadala roller, and it's pretty sweet. You select your class that you're using, male and female, seasonal, hardcore. I don't know what the gender or seasonal and hardcore how that affects it really, but um, the
uh,
class
uh,
seasonal wouldn't it?
seasonal affect it. Hardcore will affect it for amulets because there is a hardcore only amulet on there.
Oh, the one that is destroyed when you die.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, okay, point taken. Okay, so but the cool thing is though is that you can basically roll. It just gives you like a blank slate, and you can just roll at things as many times as you want until you get what you're looking for. And then the top right, you can barely see it, and I wish that they would make this a little bit more like you could see this a little bit better. But the top right corner in the window, you can click and it gives you stats. And so so right before the episode, I just did a quick roll of about 60 items, and I rolled 51 rares, 4 magic items, 2 legendary items, one or 2 set items, and 1 ancient. And it tells you like it gives you a few stats like in sentences as well. And it told me, and this is to our big surprise, that I've seen Crown of the Invoker more than any other legendary items. So not a surprise,
Hmm.
but it's really cool tool to just mess around with. Obviously, if you want an item, you're gonna roll, till you get it or whatever. But it's cool because it tells you how many blood shards you roll and things like
Yeah,
that. So,
it's just like kind of like a fun little mini game.
yep,
Because it doesn't do anything. It is not like an accurate prediction method. It's just a way of going through and having a chance at getting some of the items to roll
yep,
based off of uh, the data mined drop rates. And then
yeah,
extrapolating that out to Kadala, and it's
and kind
but
of give you a good idea of.
yeah, it's a little fun thing that you can do, saying I'm gonna keep rolling until I get an ancient corrupted Ashbringer. How
There you
many blood
go.
shards?
There it
Like
is.
800,000. Um,
Done.
yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yep. And to answer the other side of the question, the Diablo 3 character calculator, that is d3planner.com. It allows you to go through, pick your class, fill out all of your equipment, um, and it will kind of give you an estimation of your approximate like DPS and the damage that you're going to be doing. It's there's certain skills and class combinations that it will do better than with others. The more procs and set bonuses and such that you have on there, it can fluctuate a little bit from what you're actually going to experience in game. But that's one of the best ones that are out there.
Hmm. That's
As far
pretty
as
cool.
just, trying to, if you want to compare like raw character sheet DPS to say, what's going to be better.
Yes. Yep.
Ah,
So
yeah. I'll go ahead and take another one here. Actually, I'll take a couple in a row. We had
okay.
a email from Ash Kickers that just going through wanted to say thanks. He sent in a question about going through and using a Happy Meal on a couple bows that he had, and he just wanted to go through and say that he did end up using the Ronald McDonald's on his arcane barb, but he's since found 2 more, and he's just going through and trying to craft some mores until he gets a better one. Um,
I love that
uh,
Ronald McDonald spreading. I
all
love that.
over. Yep. Just so you just wanted to go through and say thanks for going and
Yep.
helping him out. And it's anytime is what we're here for. Try and give you the best information that we can. And we were mentioning her earlier. Lala also went through and sent in her
This is
spin
awesome.
on the upcoming nerf to permanent CC, and she gave us a nice little um, musical rendition.
Yes.
Yeah, she went through and she gave us the song, in the lyrics and everything, just in case we've never seen it before. Maybe if you maybe I could go through and get this, on next episode and grab it. But she just went through and sent us a little musical rendition of it.
Yep. It's the song. The song is "I Don't Need Your Rocking Chair" by
Hmm.
George Jones.
It's I don't need your stuns.
Good job, Lala. Love
Hmm.
it. So yeah. So next one is from Frederick, which Frederick sends in. Starts out with "Sup, fellas." So I felt kind of weird saying that when I'm actually usually a listener and I hear you guys saying it. So
Hmm.
so, so he says so he's talking about stash tabs. So he proposes actually making the inventory more like a another popular MMO, which I'm guessing he's referring to World of Warcraft. Um,
Could be.
yeah. So make it so you can mail your or send your items between characters on your account. He thinks that maybe that could solve some problems. He's a casual player and but he does like to play different classes, so I feel like he's running out of space. Um, I would say I, I don't know how I feel, to be honest. I don't know how I feel about character bound stash tabs. I don't. Is that what? I think that's the first part he was recommending.
Yeah,
Correct.
he was just going and talking about how he would like to see if they change the stash system in Diablo to be a little bit more based on the character instead of one central stash tab. So say if you went through and created a character that you might have like one or two stash tabs instead of just your character inventory that are devoted solely to that character.
It's kind of like
Instead
Diablo
of
2.
yeah, it's kind of like, think of you have played World of Warcraft, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes,
think of it like your bank. Your bank
yeah,
is just for that one character, and so it's just kind of going and doing something along those lines. So that way you have certain number of stash tabs for each character, just because that will increase your overall stash space. So that way I can go and you know I have four stash tabs full of all this demon hunter stuff, and I want to go through and start rolling a crusader. Well, I have my character inventory and one stash tab full of items that I can now save for my Crusader before I have to start deleting things.
yeah,
Let alone, what am I going to run into when the season's over?
yeah.
hmm
Man, that would give you a ton of space.
Yeah,
Uh,
even just like a single stash tab per character.
yeah, that would give you a crap load. I don't like. It sounds really cool. I don't know if they would ever do that though.
Yeah,
I mean, because they made it really clear that like at what point do you stop, right?
hmm
Like at what point is it enough stash space? Because
it'll
I'm
never
also
be
one of the
enough stash space.
right. You're always gonna have
Uh,
someone saying, "Hey, I need more," because
mm,
I play a lot of different characters. I enjoy playing a lot of different classes and a lot of times two of each class if whatever.
mhm.
Um, so I do understand that yeah, you run out of space really fast, but I don't know. I think stash space. I'm one of the few people that would probably say that I don't mind where it's at right now.
Mhm.
Um, just because it makes you go through and um, like just under like go through your stuff and say, okay, like what do I really need to keep? The only thing I wish, and when I read this question earlier today, it like it would be cool if they could do something about set items because that's the biggest problem that I come across is I say, okay, I have all these set items, like because what if, like what if
Mhm.
they do something?
What
Um,
if they buff this, or what if there's some build around that?
exactly.
And then if you're hardcore, well, I got to keep a couple extra pieces of this set for when
Yeah,
my character dies, so I can go
that's
and
exactly
transition
it.
over.
Yeah.
It does get really bad. I do really like the idea of having like even just a single stash tab that's character specific. Sure, when your character dies, I lose everything in that stash tab. At least from the hardcore perspective.
Yeah.
I am okay with that just for the fact that it will give me additional stash space. Um, because I mean, hell, if I had one stash per character, I would probably the rest of my stash would be empty besides crafting materials, because
Yeah.
I'm going through and I'm holding on. It's like, well, in case I want to level up a monk, which I just did. It's like I'm gonna hold on to that piece of Inyas, or I'm gonna
Yep.
hold on to this flying dragon. Whenever I go to roll a crusader, I'm gonna hold on to this blade of prophecy. Whenever I go through to roll a barbarian, I'll go through and use this Bulkathos, and then that Bulkathos sword is going to sit in my stash for the next 2 years, because I'm never going to roll one. But
Yep.
it's some of those things that's just that would help tremendously, and I would
Yeah.
be okay with losing everything in there as a hardcore character. If you died, you lost that stash space. It would make it burn. I would have to put like some of my gear in the general stash tab, but there's a lot of stuff like I'm holding on to this amulet because it's decent, and if I get like this set
Then I could use
completed or
that. Yeah.
whatever, then I could use this one, or
Yep.
this is nice if I want to transition, switch from Nats to Unhallowed, and other things like that.
So what if because I mean he's made a good point about like other like using pieces from other MMOs. What if kind of just something similar to that, but not quite that far would be like something like they do gear. You can like switch between sets of gear. So like you have like one set of gear and you can quickly switch over to another. I don't remember what they call that in WoW, but
Hmm.
basically you would have enough space for just two different sets of gear.
So kind of like weapon switch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's something again that I've seen a lot of people asking for. People have been asking for that since the whole Magic Find, gear swaps.
yeah,
I don't see them doing that so much. I would like to see if they expanded upon like the cosmetic tab a little bit more to do something along those lines where you could save like the item sets into it, or at least like the build sets, so you could quickly transition from, this is my T6 build, this is my Greater Rift 50 build,
yeah,
and just be able to quick swap there. Something that you have to go into town in order to do, or something along those lines. I think would be cool. I don't know
yeah,
how much they'd be against it, just because they've been pretty adamant about not liking like the weapon switch or the gear switch. We'll have to see if it's something that they do want to add in or not.
yeah. One more thing to add to this, which I was actually surprised. I remember in beta, I was surprised when they didn't have a mail system.
Mhm.
That was one thing I was like. I mean, I guess they kind of have it now, where they have that mail icon, but I was like 100% sure they were going to add that in there. I was really surprised with that, but
Mhm.
yeah,
There's not a lot that you can mail to other players.
no. But I was thinking more to mail to myself. I guess
Yeah.
back then I was thinking to other players, but you
Yeah.
know what? I mean, like it probably wouldn't be too useful now because you can just put it in your
Yeah.
stash.
You just
But
put it in the stash. You don't really need to mail
um,
anything to yourself.
yeah, but
Huh.
yep,
Yeah. And then we had one last email here before we get into the items of the week. This one comes from Irf, IRF. I think that's it. Irf,
Earth,
yeah,
yeah.
Irf 81. We'll see how badly I can butcher something that's a single vowel and two
You can
consonants.
yell at us later.
Yep. Yeah, he just wanted to go through and say that he recently found the show and that he loves it. Um, and that he's been playing since the original Diablo, and he just wanted to take the time, share a little bit of his story, and say that he wants to try and be a member of the clan, which he is now at this point. I think you
Yes.
actually accepted his invite. What was it? Yesterday, the day before?
Yeah, I did a wave 2 days ago, probably.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we recently we did a whole bunch of invites and a whole bunch of kicks, not bannings, but a whole bunch of kicks for people that had been absent for
Hmm.
like over a month. Because we do try to keep the blood a little bit more active. So if you've been inactive, it used to be we used to say like 2 weeks, but if you've been inactive for like over a month, then
Right now, it's all picks up. It picks up
yeah.
again.
Because we always have people that are going through and apping into the clan. We want to we just want to make sure that there's room, for people that are active and want to play, for them to
Yep.
go and come in. So yeah, we do have some spots open if you're looking to join. You just look us up. We're the BlizzPro clan. You can go into the community section, do a search, send in, just go through and you can go and request to join. We'll put a little application on our screen that we can go through and receive. We have a couple of openings, I think like 10 openings at the moment.
Yep.
So we'll take most anybody that comes in at the moment. We do put a little bit more of a preference on hardcore players because we like fostering our hardcore community. And also, if you send an email like Earth that lets us know that you're interested in joining the clan, we also will go through and grab your name as opposed to others, especially when we're at a more like peak time, like during the beginning of a season.
Yep.
We'll have like 15, 20 applications sitting there of people wanting to go through and join. If you took the time to send us an email, we know you're serious and you're going to be getting an invite as opposed to other people. So
Hmm.
just if send us the Westmarch Workshop at BlizzPro.com if you're looking to join the clan. Let us know.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
moving on. We've got items of the week.
Items of the week.
Yeah. switching things over here. Hopefully this scene switches. And it does. All right, our first item of the week comes in from Nevik. You'll probably remember him from a couple episodes ago. He is the host of the Shattered Soulstone. He was talking about his crashing rain that he had found. That even though he doesn't really play Demon Hunters too much, he thought he had a good one. It wasn't as good as he thought it was, but then he had this one drop.
Thing's a beast.
Yeah, Ancient Crashing Rain, though, like we talked about, an Ancient Crashing Rain isn't that much of a difference from a regular Crashing Rain, but the legendary proc on this thing, 3,917%. It goes, from a value of 3,000 to 4,000, so he's almost max, and
Mm-hmm.
that is a huge damage increase
Yeah, it is.
for this item. But going through the rest of it, it did roll 566 dexterity, 554 vitality, 13% life, and then he's re-rolled for 509 armor because it does have the secondary 182 arcane resists.
Yep. It's a good looking belt.
Yep.
Yeah, 397 or that
Yeah.
3,900
Mhm.
damage is sweet.
Yeah. Moving on, our next set of items here comes from Andrews. He was going through and playing some Greater Rifts with friends, and he had both of these drop off of like the
Oh
same Rift
gosh.
Guardian.
Oh
So
man.
imagine that. He had an Ancient Dagger of Darts and an Ancient Star Kukri both drop at the same time. So how much better can your luck be in a scenario like this, no matter what build it is that you want to go through and do? But
Yeah.
just going through and hitting down the stats. The Dagger of Darts, 3,297 DPS. It rolled an 9% damage and 830 intelligence. He's re-rolled for 7% attack speed. And the secondary properties is ignored durability loss, and of course, the legendary bonus, your poison darts from your fetish's poison darts now pierce. So when combined with the Carnival, this go through and you have mad darts shooting everywhere,
Yep.
and Ronald McDonald's Happy Meal for the socket. And then, sitting alongside of it is a Ancient Starmelt Kukri weighing in at 3,050 DPS. He's re-rolled 9% weapon damage on it. 936 intelligence, increased critical hit damage by 33%, secondary bonus of 127 maximum mana, and of course, the reduces the cooldown of your fetish army and Big Bad Voodoo by 1 second every time that your fetishes deal damage, and finishing off with Ramal and Ding Dongs to throw in the socket there.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like those are like the two rarest weapons for Witch Doctor, and
The
this dropped on what's that?
yeah, especially the star metal there.
Oh
That
yeah.
that that one is ridiculous.
I've
The
never I've never found a dagger. I've found a star metal, but never a dagger darts.
I've found a couple dagger darts during season 2 on my Witch Doctor, but I never had a Carnival, so I couldn't really put them to
Yeah.
use. Um, the next couple items we had sent in here by Mr. Dorcas, longtime listener of the show. He, of course, sent in this episode's Ancient Furnace, which we will always show. This one's weighing in at 4,163 DPS. It rolled an
Bing.
innate 8% damage and 1,437 intelligence. It's got a 5% chance to fear and increases damage against elites by 49%. And also rolled a socket. He hasn't re-rolled anything. Unfortunately, the furnace just isn't what it used to be. So no Ramalada Ding Dongs here. I don't know if this item might see much use for him or not. But he does have some other items that he's gone through and sent in. Let me go and get this enlarged so you can see it better on the stream there. This is some ancient Tacits of the Waste. This is part of the Wrath of the Waste set. These weighed in at 650 strength, 650 vitality. So I think that's the max that you can roll for pants Is
I
it 650 or 750?
I think I want to say it's 650.
Yeah.
I honestly I don't know though.
Yeah, so it's just I do believe that so it rolled innately max strength and then he's re-rolled for max vitality. It rolled 124 resistance to all elements, which is one below max, plus 35% gold for monsters. Increase gold and health globe pickup range by 2 yards, and of course sockets, which he's thrown in diamonds there for the survivability. Very very beautiful piece there.
It's good looking.
Yep. He also sent in an ancient convention of the elements. This is the BlizzCon ring that people, including Dat mods, got to go through and develop at BlizzCon last year. It went and rolled 624 strength. He's re-rolled it for 50% crit damage, 6% crit chance. Rolled 177 lightning resist, and its innate ability gain 191% increased damage to a single element for 4 seconds, and it rotates through the elements available to your class. This one caps out at 200% for the legendary affix, so pretty good roll on that
Yeah,
one.
he's got some good rolls on there.
Already rolled innate max crit chance, and then I don't even want to know how much gold he spent going
I
from
was gonna say get that
50% crit
perfect 50.
damage. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, quite a bit of RNG luck, not just to get like this set of items, but for his rerolls. Because also speaking of which, is Mars Kaleidoscope that he went through and sent in, rolling at 635 strength. He's re-rolled the crit damage to a perfect 100%. Man,
That's gonna
Dorcas,
take some gold.
you have got some luck on
Actually, it's not gonna take
these.
any gold. It's gonna take a lot of gems, isn't
That's
it?
gonna yeah, they'll take a lot of gold making Imperial gems. There's no
Yes.
way that you found enough gems just picking them up off the ground to get this far. 8.5% crit chance, 8,000 life after each kill, and converts poison damage into 14% healing. And of course, it has a socket in there, which he's got a level 43 Bane of the Trapped.
So he's got those gems leveled up pretty good. 44 and 43.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Taiguk in the Convention of Elements
Oh.
at rank 44.
Yeah, and then continuing on, we've got an item from Blood Raider here. He's got the Nat Slayer, an ancient Nat Slayer here, clocking in at 3,309 DPS. It's got 9% damage, 918 dexterity. He's re-rolled to get reduced cooldown of all skills by 10%. It's a Nat Slayer, so that's one of the best stats that you can get on it. Increases Rain of Vengeance damage by 25%. In Ronald McDonald's for an empty socket and ignores durability loss.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good that is good looking because those are all like just really close to being max, and he's got the cold damage for the kick. Well, I guess.
For
Yeah,
if the cold damage on the weapon itself doesn't really matter
yeah. I was
too
thinking.
much, yeah, because you
I was
still have
thinking if
use
unless he's using they don't use the I cannot think of the
ice blink.
they don't use the sentries at all, do they?
Not in an Natalia's build, no.
No.
No, you use if you want to proc Bane of the Trapped, you'd be using Focus with an Ice Blink, which is it's
Yeah.
a pretty popular combo.
Yep.
He's currently running Unhallowed Essence, and he was thinking of trying out Nats. And with this item, it's like one of the perfect things to go through and do it. He just wanted to know what like the ideal weapon that he's looking for Unhallowed build. Which is better, crossbow or bow? Generally speaking, crossbow will give you better average damage, so it'll do more damage per hit or more damage per hatred. That will be your better route of going. The exception to that, of course, is the Kreider shot,
Rider
which is a
shot.
bow, which is
Yep.
the highest DPS of all of the Unhallowed Essence builds that are out there.
So if you
Um,
use that with the ball lightning or whatever,
yeah.
that's the build right now with the unhollowed that's doing the
Mhm.
crazy damage.
Yep. And then he had one last question. He likes to run two defensive legendary gems. He wants to know what he thinks would be the best in terms of DPS for a Demon Hunter. If you're only going to be using a single offensive gem, probably Zeiss would be
Yep.
one of the best ones that are out there for you. Just
Just
depending
because
on,
that damage is multiplicative, right?
yeah, the damage on it is multiplicative. For most of the unhallowed essence, and the Nats builds, you kind of have to rely on Ice Blink and Focus in order to put the chill effect on monsters, because you don't want to be anywhere near you in order to get the passive bonus to
Yep.
slow them for it. So yeah, Zeiss, since it's multiplicative, is going to give you one of the best scaling DPS that you can get out of a
Yep.
legendary gem. And we've got an ancient grandfather sent in to us here by Blue Right. Zoom in a little bit here on this guy. And this one is going through and clocking in at 4,327 DPS. He's re-rolled it for 10% damage. Um, it's rolled 1,318 intellect, 1,244 vitality, and 14% life, with the secondary affix of ignores durability lost. Not going to be the cornerstone of any builds, but still, it's a nice
Yeah.
item. And of course, it's a great throwback. We were talking about the Diablo evolution earlier. This is a nice throwback of an item that's been with us since the beginning.
Man, I remember the grandfather in Diablo 2, just like, oh, you just want that so bad.
Hmm. Yep, this one, yeah, was it has such a storied history, and just it's
Oh, Blu-ray just
not
noticed or
not that
noted
great.
the text that says
Oh,
it says the most ancient and
and revered
revered
of
of all great
great sword.
swords.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah, which of course is the name. For people that don't get it, the grandfather has been around since the beginning. It's been in, I believe that it made its debut in D1. Pretty sure. I know it was in Diablo 2.
I don't know. Yeah, I know it was in Diablo 2. I don't remember Diablo 1 super well.
Yep,
Like
it was a
items.
unique greatsword from Diablo 1. It gave bonuses to all of your stats, so it was one of the best weapons in the game, and could also be used one-handed, so you could use it with a shield.
Hmm.
And then, of course, it was one of the highest DPS swords. It was, I believe, the only elite unique for the two-handed swords in D2, but with things like Crushing Blow, it just wasn't that great. You'd go through and you'd farm forever in order to get yourself a grandfather, and then once Lord of Destruction hit, you craft yourself something with, like 10% Crushing Blow, and it would just, blow it out of the water.
Yeah. Oh, the grandfather.
Yep.
Love us some grandfather.
And that kind of brings us to an end for this week's episode.
Sorry, Shepard just whispered me in game said I think I might have found the event that you're looking for. So I'm like
Well,
freaking out right now.
so I guess we're ending on a good note here, because you'd be leaving us anyways.
I guess we'll find out in a
Uh-huh.
second. I'm not leaving you. I'm just playing while I.
I'm just.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness, it is. Shepard, I love you so much.
uh,
Oh man.
you heard it here first. Chris is professing his love for Shepard.
Oh my
I won't
goodness.
tell your wife. Your secret's safe
My
with
wife is in
me.
the other room, so oh my
uh,
goodness. Shepard is the man.
yep.
So I appreciate that, my man. So
But yeah, so there we go. That is it for this week. Um, Hopefully next week we'll have more to go and talk about. We'll have the Play Your Way stream, so that will be at least something that we can go and discuss there, which uh, you definitely will want to check out one way or another. It's hosted as always by Nevelistus, everybody's favorite Death Maiden. She is the Death Maiden of trolling. You'll be able to go through. This is a little bit later than a lot of the other ones. It starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, which is 8 p.m. Eastern, and is slated to last about an hour. So yeah, go through, check it out. Twitch.tv/Diablo.
yep.
And as always, you can find us, the Westmarch Workshop, We're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. You can find us our new channel. Obviously, if you're watching us here or listening to this on YouTube, we're at twitch.tv/BlizzPro, and you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/BlizzPro to find, or just do a search for Westmarch Workshop on YouTube. You'll find us, on there eventually. The last episode that we had on Steven's channel, in the comments, I put a link so that way you could find the YouTube channel, in case you're ever having problems finding it and know where to go from there. You can find us on Twitter, the WM Workshop. Of course, you can follow me at Neinball Gamer, and special guest here at Lieutenant Lunatic, or LT Lunatic 22. And we love hearing from you. So any feedback, items of the week, general comments, calling me out on my mispronunciations, what have you, you can always send it in to the Westmarch Workshop at BlizzPro.com.
I think it's just, is it the Westmarch or is it Westmarch?
Just Westmarch Workshop.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me on again, man. 2 in a row is fun. So had a good time, and yeah.
Yeah, well, you can blame the listeners for me going through and bringing you on a second time, because we had a couple people were going through and writing in on Twitter saying that I should bring you back on because there's a nice little bit of a rapport there. So
I'll stop, guys. Stop.
Blame them.
You're making me blush, but you can't see my face anymore. So.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have to like pee super bad this time like we did last episode. So like I'm not trying to like kick us off really fast like I was last week.
Yeah, now you just have to go through and finish all your achievements.
Yeah. Well, I got them now. I'm good.
Oh, you're done already. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, good night, everybody.